What's going on, everyone? Anthony Drew Gary here, host of The How To Show, where we talk about optimizing life, money, and happiness one how-to at a time. If you're watching this video when it comes out, it's right around the time that stimulus checks are starting to hit people's accounts. And if you qualify for one of those, there's a good chance you either have already or will receive one of those soon. Anywhere from $1,400 per person, or if you've got a spouse, or if you've got dependents, some multiple of it. So there's a good chance that you may be coming into a decent amount of money soon. And so I wanted to spend some time talking about how to spend your stimulus money and to do it effectively. But before I do that, I just want to spend some time doing something that I have always wanted to do, and I think this will be a lot of fun. I managed to collect all of the cash that we had at our house. This is a total of $14. And so this could be representative of your stimulus. And just assume that all of these are $100 bills. And so the first thing you're going to want to do with your stimulus is something that I've seen once upon a time. I think you do it like this. Yeah, I think that's how you do that. Now I have dollar bills all over the place. That's not a really good look for the how-to show, but we're still going to run with it. So when you start to think about when you receive an influx of money like this, there's some options that you have to spend it on. And hopefully I haven't completely lost your attention span by the fact that I just made it rain on the show. Keep going with me. There actually is some good content in this episode. So when we talk about different ways to spend your stimulus money, you might be enticed by the latest gaming console, the latest electronic, going on a shopping spree for new clothes, different things like that. And all of those things are important and they all have a place and time in life, but maybe let's talk about some things that we might want to prioritize ahead of those, if it makes sense for you. So the first thing I want to talk about is the core four. And what I mean by that is food, shelter, transportation, and utilities. And if nothing else, if this money can help you achieve either security or further one of those four items, you're probably going to look to do that first. Totally makes sense. Those are basically the core functions of life. You have to eat, you have to have a place to stay, and you need to get around at some level of capacity also. So the next thing I want to talk about is high interest credit card debt. If you're in a situation where you have outstanding credit card balances and you're paying interest on those, the reality is that interest is probably somewhere north of 5% at the real low end, all the way up to maybe 24-25%. And so if you've got an opportunity to take some of this stimulus money and apply it towards some high interest credit cards, I think that can be really beneficial to an overall plan to get rid of that sort of burden from your life. And if that's something that you can do to help your situation, I think that's probably a good idea. Along those lines, if you have any sort of personal debts or maybe payday lenders, different things like that, and that frankly may have interest charges well in excess of the 25% that a credit card might have, it might make sense to dig into some of those too and start to check those boxes and get those taken care of. Moving on from that, along those same lines, if the last year or whatever, I guess it's been a little more than a year now, has caused financial strain in your life, it's not out of the question that you got behind in some of your bills or some of your payments that you have over the course of your life. And so I would recommend getting on some sort of payment plan for all of those. You know, this is an opportunity to call those creditors or to call those folks that you owe money to, explain to them that you have come into some money, that you're working to improve your situation, but you need them to be flexible with you. And if you can get some sort of consistency in writing from them, I think that'll help your case, especially from the standpoint that a lot of creditors like that will report to the credit agencies. And so you don't want this to be an issue later on down the road for you if you can avoid it now. And so just thinking about those ways to build good habits and to start to maybe repair some situations that have accrued over the last year. The next thing I want to talk about is deferred maintenance. And this could come in a couple of different ways. Either if you own a car, you own a home, or you own anything that has regular maintenance that goes toward it, there's a good chance that you may have skipped some of those over the last year, just either by way of not wanting to go out in the pandemic or not wanting people in your home, or just from a financial constraint. Maybe you didn't do some of these things. And so this might be a good chance or a good opportunity to revisit those types of items in your life. And just make sure that you've got a plan in place to take some of your bigger ticket purchases over your life and make sure that they last a little longer with some of that sort of preventive maintenance. So the next thing that we can talk about is actually spending the money. And there's nothing wrong with that. In its core essence, it is a stimulus. It is to stimulate the economy. And so that if you can spend those dollars, I don't think there's anything wrong with that whatsoever. If you're in a position to do so, and maybe some of the other things that I've mentioned before don't apply to you in one capacity or another. So maybe it makes sense that you spend that money in your community somehow. If there's an entrepreneur, a restaurateur, somebody that's starting a small business, somebody that you care about, somebody that maybe needs some help because they were beat down over the last year too, go be a patron to their business. I'm sure that they'll appreciate it, and you'll ultimately feel good about doing that because you're making a difference in your community as opposed to a different community. And there's a sense of civic pride that goes into that. And if you don't know what those community business are, think of the community business that sponsor your youth sports teams or your different sponsorship opportunities within school musicals, school plays. If those are the types of folks that are investing their dollars into your community, and you can do the same by investing your dollars into their businesses. And if there's not a chance to do that in person in your community, maybe there's still a hesitancy to go out and to visit those places in person. It's not out of the question that these local shops have a digital footprint as well. And maybe that's an online platform, or maybe it's just some sort of shop where they make deliveries to you, different things like that. If you can still find a way, even digitally, to help out a business in your community, I think it's going to be all the better for you. And so if you made it this far and you've still got some money left over from your stimulus, you can consider different opportunities for charity. You know, there are plenty of charities that over the last couple of years, just because everybody's gotten a little more tightly wound in their budgets, they're probably working on budgets for their nonprofits or for their local missions that might not have been what they expected them to be. And so if you can help fill the gaps there, I think it's again going to be beneficial for your community as a whole. So if charity is a mission that you feel led to give some money to, it's a good opportunity for you to do some research about the ones that make a difference in different ways that you care about. And the last thing that I want to talk about along these lines is, it's not out of the question that you may want to take some of this stimulus money and put it toward retirement planning. And I am not a retirement planner. I'm not a retirement financial expert. So this is not advice. Get your own personal advice in this situation. But as a general rule, the way that you're getting this stimulus money is it's a tax credit that's being created for the future that you're getting the benefit of now. And so this is money that you never paid taxes on. And if you think about that and you try to be strategic with it, it may make sense to look at taking some of this money and sending it over to a Roth IRA. And the reason that I say that is because a Roth IRA uses after-tax dollars, and you invest those funds, and over time, hopefully it grows, and at the end, when you come to withdraw those funds, you don't pay any taxes on them. So what's that practically mean? If you can take your stimulus dollars that you didn't pay any taxes on, you can invest your stimulus dollars, hopefully one day they grow, and later on you can withdraw those stimulus funds. You're not paying taxes on it now, and you're not paying taxes on it later. So this may be a good opportunity for you if all the other things that I've talked about so far are boxes that are checked for you, or if you have other plans for those types of items. You know, maybe it makes sense to throw some of the stimulus money into a retirement account. And so for the sake of entertainment, I'll grab a couple of these that were remaining on my desk. We'll do this one more time. 1, 2, 3. That was fun. I can't even take myself seriously with what I just did. If there's anybody that's watching me just make it rain, I am embarrassed for myself. And hopefully you got a good laugh out of it, because I'm getting a laugh out of it too. That's going to bring this episode of the show to a close. If you listen to this in podcast form, unfortunately, you did not get the benefit of watching me make a fool out of myself. You'll have to check it out in the YouTube version. But if you are a podcaster, you can find all the episode content that I've produced over the years by searching either Anthony Drew Gary or The How To Show on the podcast player of your choice. If you got any benefit from this video, I ask you to hit the like button so that the YouTube algorithm knows that this is one that somebody else could get benefit from as well. And if you've got any feedback for the show, please leave me a comment. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't like. Did I leave anything out in this video? There's a good chance I did. And so let me know what you're thinking about that. What are you planning on spending your stimulus money on? I'm interested to see what other people think about that. So if you think there's somebody in your life that could get benefit from this video, please share it with them. It costs you nothing. You don't even have to spend any of your stimulus money to share videos in the How To Show format with other people. So all the better. People can share information with one another, and I appreciate it if you would do that. Until next time, this is Anthony Drew Gary, host of the How To Show, signing off.